Okay, dear students, let's talk about thematic apperception test in general, which I want to explain you through a simple process where you will learn something about it. I'm sure it will help you. See, what is the word thematic apperception test? I think I'll go for the white. It will be better there. Just a second. Come on. Right. Thematic okay. Thematic apperception test. What is it? Okay? We're going to talk about it and you are going to learn a lot about it. See, so a person is, so the person sees. You getting the point? Suppose I have never seen a kangaroo, but I have seen a rabbit. So the moment I'll see a kangaroo, I'll say, oh my God, this is an overgrown rabbit. So I have seen, so I will see. Everybody has limitation of thought process because their exposure is not good. But in today's time, when you all people are blessed with internet, blessed with a lot of learning, your perceptual thought process is quite broadened, so you know what is what and what not. Still, we do not give you bizarre situation, we give you simple situation from day-to-day life. And then we expect you to write on it. Thematic apperception test came into picture by a Rosenvig picture frustration study. And what it was that in Rosenvig, what he did was he showed a picture to a candidate and told him to write a story where a lady was watching into a room. Simple story. Could have written that there is a matron who made sure the room is neat and clean, made sure everybody, and thus she helped the organization do well. Could have been written. But that gentleman wrote that this is a mother of a person and she is very over-dominating. The moment the person will come back, she'll eat on him, she'll take away the resources, she like this, she like that. Now the boy was given the freedom of using the pen and the freedom to express the thought. So his block frustration came out in paper. You getting the point? This became a milestone for psychological research. They realized that so you are, so you see. If you are cunning, you will always think the other person is cunning. If you are simple, you will see the other person is simple. Depends on you. And depends on the way you see. Is it clear? Yes, no. As simple as that. So here we go about thematic apperception test. I want to take you back to Sigmund Freud, who has been a very milestone performance psychologist. Sigmund Freud has observed people in a huge level and created a psychosexual theory. What is that psychosexual theory? It says that different genders behave differently, but right from the birth, from different stages, person evolve, and then they go to the next, then they go to the next, then they go to the next. If somebody is not satisfied at one level, then automatically the person may go to the next because of age factor, but the frustration will remain and the person will show that tendency. For example, we'll give you this understanding so that you can understand psychology a little better. There is a stage in child's life when he goes through toilet training. Now, toilet training is done by the parents to the child. Or if some other orphanage, then it is by the warden. But if it is not given properly and healthily, the person learns to live in the dirt. And as a result of later life, it has been found that people who had very poor toilet training are little less organized in their life. It took me quite a bit of understanding that I have to do that. I admit. I unfortunately did not have mother, and till 3 years I was without mother till my second mother walked in. So those 3 years which were earlier of toilet training was bad. So the sense of organizing became a mess. So whenever I learned later in psychology, I look back and I realized I need to organize myself better. And regularly all my efforts are to organize better. Still I feel that sometimes because of the elaboration of the work, my organization system does require extra efforts. It is not coming naturally. So you see the importance? You getting the point? Yes or no? Similarly, single child, elder child, younger child, there are n number of theories which define pattern of behavior. Economical situations, n number of situations. There are people who have earned from cheating, nonsense, and have become successful to a reasonable level. I have literally seen them. They are deceits of number 1 category. You getting the point? They are complete deceits, and all of them are cheaters with each other also. They cheat with each other, they compete with each other. They don't want benefit of each other, yet they assemble together. How funny. It's like foxes and those wolves coming together, but they don't trust each other. And they never want to see each other do well also. This kind of tendency has been developed. Why? Because of this childhood times, parenting, childhood training. Yes or no? So everything is explainable in psychology if one has to read it. But one has to be also intelligent to identify shortcomings and correct on it. Because in psychology the most beautiful part is, if you are a patient and you are an aware patient, you can be your doctor. You can doctor and solve the problem. Is it clear? So this thematic apperception test is going to go into the depth of your psychological thought. A very, very important test. You call it story writing. We technically call it thematic apperception test. In story writing, you get a time duration of 3 minutes to write. It's ample enough to identify the emotions, the actions, the situations, and thus we are able to identify your thought process. There are some people who copy from YouTube and they have a structured thought process. One can easily learn that these mantras have been learned, not written from heart. We expect you to write your psychology test from heart so that we can read you, we can identify you, and we can thereafter select you. Many of you get rejected time and time again because you don't write anything from heart. So a psychologist is able to read from your biodata that the gentleman or the person who is appearing candidate, gentleman or the lady candidate, whatever it is not writing truly, is thus concealing. And as a result, in spite of the best of personality, those candidates don't get selected. So it's very important to express yourself freely. But again, we want you to do, remember, positivity is life. You are sitting here because you are having the positive belief that tomorrow you will be officers, tomorrow you will go ahead with your life. Suppose you think negative and you think that an earthquake or a disaster is going to come tomorrow and everything is going to end, I think you will all disappear and I would be speaking alone in the wall. Very simple. So positivity keeps you going. Positivity makes you aspire. Positivity helps you drive on the road. Positivity helps you to think for future. So positivity is very important. And the second part is originality. If you copy others and you express, then unfortunately one person who is continuously sitting there as a psychologist in the service selection board center or service selection center is able to identify that this story is a repeat of what had come few months before or few days before, or is also following at the spot by many other candidates. So your way to write, the way to think, the way to relate will be different, and that difference comes from your biodata differences. Your father is different, your mother is different, your city may be different, your economical standard may be different, your thought will be different, your exposure to different activities will be different. So automatically if you embrace your original personality, which is your biodata, you will automatically write positively and write with a difference and look original. Is it clear? So here we go into thematic apperception test deeply. I've always said that when you write thematic apperception test, there are going to be 12 pictures. And in 12 pictures, how many will be there with pictures? With photos, 11. One will be totally blank. In blank, you will be given the freedom to imagine whatever you want to write. In the 12 pictures, you will be given different kind of pictures, different kind of thought process to be picked up. Now, what is the purpose of these 11 pictures? They want to explore your personality. They want to explore your personality as a system of your parents. They want to explore your personality as a student. They want to explore your personality as a sports person. They want to explore your personality as a social human being. They want to explore your personality. So 11 of them will be having different pictures, and each one of them will be deciding to identify different elements or different shades of your personality. Who are you? You are a sum total of parenting. You are sum total of economical condition. You are sum total of social impact. You are sum total, like if you stay, say, in Los Angeles or say Mumbai, and you stay somewhere in a place in Banda or other places which are little aloof, you will have a different thought process altogether. So everything, you are an end product of the same. Your parenting, your friends, your schooling. Of course, your filtering is also important. There are some people who may live in Banda, but they have used the internet to rightly educate themselves with the right thoughts. But not to the extreme core. They understand Banda realities also, and they want to talk about their dreams also. But the awareness is the bridge between both of them. If you have no awareness and you dream, nothing will happen. You'll have to do. Action is where we lack. And we dream that God will come and punish. Nobody is going to punish anyone. Nobody is going to reward anyone. Your efforts are behind it. So if your efforts are going to be good, you will be rewarded. If your efforts are going to be bad, it will be punished. If your effort is to settle issues, it will be done. If your efforts are not to settle issues, it will not be done. It's all dependent on your action and how you think about it. Is it clear? So your personality is already constructed. You will have to decode yourself. Why are you looking at me to identify and define a personality for you? You already are wonderful human beings. Yes, certain aspirations can be done, but considering yourself zero will be losing on your self-confidence. So a person who has no confidence on self will be talking about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Narendra Modi ji, or X number of people. But person who is confident about himself, to certain places at least will talk about himself, herself. So we are looking at that in your stories. Is it clear to all of you? Here we go about 12 pictures. 11 of them will be different pictures. They will show you of emergencies, accident. They may show you of two people talking, which can be something related to your school. There can be two people talking. That people can be an administrative person talking to someone else. There can be four people standing together in the marketplace of some situation. There can be some n number of different kind of people, right? So all these things are going to be shown. Why? Because they want to identify the different shades of your personality. I repeat, the different shades of your personality. I repeat, the different shades of your personality. And of course, the thought process behind it. So once you've got these 11 things, they get a picture of you. Now what will you do in the blank? Generally a person may be prominently someone, or maybe continue if is good enough and he has talked about himself, that particular thing during those 11 stories, then we'll talk something else. But if suppose a person is prominently so and so, has a very nostalgic memory, has a very strong memory of that achievement, that happiness, that sense of feeling, then automatically in the 12th would like to write that out to share. Am I right? Or in case in the 11 if it has come out, then you will write something fluidity. Is it clear? So generally a person tends to think on that point, because the psychologist clearly tells you during the interview that you have to write whatever comes into your mind. Now that doesn't give you the freedom to talk nonsense. I've already told you that in the preamble we are allowed to express what is right and right for the dignity of the individual, unity and integrity. That means in the dignity also we can't write something trash. We write something relevant. So that is what is required. Is it clear? So you can write that blank. Is it clear? Now we'll go a little further beyond so that some people can pick up more of what I really want to tell them. This test requires good thought process, practice, because what will happen by doing this, what you are fluid with your thought process, confident with your thought process and relevant with your thought process. People spoil these tests and then they presume that they will be able to be selected whatsoever. Imagine I take a piece of letter and write nonsense to someone high up without any sense, without any logic, then what will happen? Automatically I will win the wrath of that person, anger of that person, or nuisance of that person. So please be watchful in what you are writing. That doesn't mean that you have to be consciously writing, but at least be intelligent enough to write even the subconscious in a nice, relevant fashion. There is no doubt that we are human beings. We have certain basic excretion process. We have certain process which is part and parcel of our body because we exist in that. But if we do it at the wrong place, we will bring embarrassment to ourselves and consider nonsense. So if you use the pen anytime, anywhere in writing anything which is absolute excretion kind of category, I'm sorry to say, you will be considered nonsense. So here, you have to bridge your understanding between your sense and the common sense and the logic. The moment you do that, you are already in the right navigation path and you will get your success. Is it clear? Okay. Now there are 12 pictures. I have always said that every picture itself defines an approach. For example, in your day-to-day life, you have different people in your life. Your parents, your brothers and sisters, your friends, your teachers, everyone, once you perceive them rightly, and then you react to them rightly, automatically your behavior is relevant. Suppose in a teacher, you see a girlfriend, I think you are creating trouble. In a girl, you are taking her as an object, again you are creating a trouble. In a boy, you are taking him as a matter of a playboy or any kind of thing, play toy, you are doing it wrong. If you are taking a parent and taking that parent in a very lowly level, you are doing it wrong because it requires the right kind of place. Similarly, if you are seeing a neighbor and you are considering him an idiot, you are again doing it wrong. So where is the crux of your thought process? It is your perception, the first perception. So if you define it rightly, that this is my maternal aunt, your behavior will automatically go fine. If paternal aunt, your behavior will automatically go fine. But if you catch hold of a lady in the market who is talking nonsense and you are trying to behave with her aunt, probably she will slap you. You are getting the point? So your perception has to be clear. I am not saying that you cannot be respectful to the common people, But I'm saying your sense of emotion in the wrong place will be disastrous for you. So defining your trajectory is also important. Now, let's look at this. That is what I taught in my different thing. There is one thing called positive action picture. Then there is one thing called positive situation picture. Then you got negative action picture. I'm going to write few categories before you, then only by differentiating you can learn from it. Then you got negative situation picture. Then you got neutral action oblique situation picture. How many have you done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Then we can go for something 6, which is vague picture. Then you got 7th, which is predefined picture. And number 8, blank picture. Now let's cover these 8 stories. You getting the point? You will get a lot of ideas from this. What do you mean by positive action picture? Any picture which shows something positively happening can be well correlated with the hero and the story can be well defined thereafter. For example, if a boy is being seen or a girl is being seen helping someone climb a mountain, the action is evident. So what do you have to just correlate? How, if you have experience, if you have gone to Vaishno Devi, if you have gone to n number place where you help somebody, then you can go into your deep thought and write a story about that. That once they went, then they helped, and then they helped also. They had a wonderful time, but they always watch this, that nobody slips, this, that. All this kind of story can be written. If you have done trekking, you can write a story there. If you have seen that you helped in an emergency, you can write a story there. Suppose you've never experienced this, and you feel that this is something which happens by people in the border security force or the border road organization BRO, which has helped somebody help up. You can write that there was a BRO officer, he helped this and thus he saved the people's life. We every time hear news, how people met an accident and people picked them up with the help of ropes and other things. We can write a story. Here, imagination on basis of appreciation read in the newspaper can be written. For example, if in the newspaper we read of a hero doing this, we can write of that hero and write a story that how he helped. Okay, because that positive action picture helps us there. Is it clear? Now there is something called positive situation picture. In positive situation you find that somebody is receiving an award, somebody is being congratulated, somebody is being hugged. Now this, why does this happen? Because of some good action. So you have done something and finally you achieved, everybody hugged you, everybody congratulated you. Isn't it? This is positive situation picture. Any doubts? Clear? Then we got negative action picture. You are seeing two people fighting. It's a negative action. And there what has been your role? You had been an administrator in the school as class monitor or something. Then you separated them and solved that. Can be written as a story. You have seen that there was a police officer who sorted this out. You can write it as a story. So negative action picture can be like this. Is it clear? We'll be ending it in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Excuse me. 10 minutes if you allow me. Who's this? Acha. Then we can go there. Go and bend down and go through. Don't disturb the class. So, any picture can be defined. In a negative action, you find that a person is getting scolded. You can understand that this happens. Then a person improves and do it. You getting the point? You must have got a scolding. What's wrong in getting a scolding? I think a stitch in time saves 9. And whenever the parents don't give that, what happens? There is a old saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. Got it, not got it. So something has to be written on those lines. Any doubt? Now we come down to negative situation picture. Now you've seen an accident happen, or you've seen an earthquake kind of thing, or you've seen a flood kind of thing, or you're seeing somebody crying. What will you do in that kind? You'll do the right action, you go and sort it out. So create a hero and sort it out. That's negative situation picture. So once you have identified that this is a situation which is to be solved, this is an action which has to be controlled. In negative action, you've seen the action controlled. In negative situation, you've seen the situation solved. Positive action, you have appreciated the action involved. In positive situation, you have shown that what was the reason that he got that. Yes or no? Now we come down to neutral action situation picture. This generally is a free place where we can express our biodata. Person running in neutral action. Now how does that running involve you? That can be a number of things. You getting the point? It can be that you remembered very late about the deadline and you ran and then you finally reached in time, whatever. You can also go back to the old movie of Shah Rukh Khan, Bhag Simran Bhag, that kind of thing. Whatever you really want to say. So the entire thing is, you can correlate with yourself. If you've been a cricket player, you can write about the running to improve the stamina, to improve the reflexes. Similarly in the football, to improve the speed between the foreplay. Whatever you really want to say. So neutral action situation picture gives you the freedom to express yourself. And don't shy of expressing yourself. If you are confident, you will write stories which is related, which has given you strength to be what you are today. Do not shy from writing it. Is it clear? Now we come down to vague picture. Now vague picture is those pictures which you get where it is not clear. It may be a dark room, something white somewhere. Now here whenever you will get a vague picture, what will you do? You will automatically apply logic. You will apply some kind of preset engineered thought to find out what it is all about. And in the vague action picture, what are you going to do? You're going to pick it out. Okay, this is this, right? What do you do in that black picture? You can take it as a power cut. And how a person really solved becoming an officer. By the way, we, along with that, feels proud that Major Virat Mishra, who had been one of our best students sometime, who had picked up All India Rank 1, I think in Series 2006. And not only once, twice, All India Rank 3 also, because unfortunately, in the first time he missed it because of delayed medical report. But in the next SSB, he had again cleared All India Rank 3. He is presently posted as OSD to the Power Minister, as he, after his tenure in the army, a short service tenure, he went on and cleared his IS and later on his officer attached with the Power Minister of UP. Yes or no? So I mean it's a matter of pride, so I am saying it, it automatically happens. Like for example, last year, I mean that is 2023 December, Ishan Tripathi, a very hard working boy. Remember, in none of the places I did special abracadabra, some kind of special magic. It's always the student who does the magic. We are delivering the same, some people take more benefit, some people take less benefit. And as a dirty teacher, or you call it selfish teacher, or you call it bad teacher, students who take interest in the studies, we love to teach them more. Because that is what is our greed, more results. And Ishan was always very aspiring and very intelligent boy. I don't fail to recognize that in the present generation also. He knew his humble background. He unfortunately did not have mother. He knew what he is going through, what troublesome time he is going through, what financial challenges he is going through. He has a younger brother also. And he was very damn focused. If I say he should salute me, I would say I would like to salute him. Because when I look at it retrospectively, it's natural. In my time, I wish I would have been so clear. I would have gone up to my foreign service, which was my aspired profession. After my short stint at 53 short service, I had really thought of coming into foreign services and probably travel across the world and probably do things. But then got stuck up in teaching, though somewhere I lost that track, but somewhere the results of the academy is some kind of solace that okay, something came out of it. But these things happen. So now let's come back to the vague picture. In the vague picture, there's a dark thing. So that is why I thought of that power minister. Light has gone out. Then what will happen? It will be a dark room. So then in that case, what will you do? So and so saw that it was totally dark. He immediately got up, told others to keep sitting. As he remembered the picture very carefully of the room, he travelled without tripping and reached to the right spot, got candle, burned it up, made arrangements for the light. Then he realized that the fuse has gone off or whatever, and then he sorted and the light came back. Right? Yes or no? Or the person realized that this is a continuous problem, so he thought what can be a personal thing. Then he realized why not he opens up a solar light system, and he got few solar lights for their home as well. He realized that the charger has to be placed in such a way that it gets charged from outside, but the bulb should be in such a way that it lightens up the home. So he used innovations. Right? Can be written yes or no. So vague picture can be also written, where nothing is clear. It's blurred. Blur picture, when do you see things blurred? You're staying in UP, in Delhi, other places. When do you see? So many times. When particularly foggy conditions come up during the winter, particularly near the lake zone. Because of weather differences, a fog is created. And what happens? Once Delhi-Jaipur highway, there were at least 40 vehicles which had crashed to each other. So why it happened? Because of fog, one could not see the other, and then the pilots continued on. Yes or no? So there also you can write, so and so realized that there's a fog, so he immediately parked his vehicle and started using the dipper light, the parking light. To make it more prominent, he put a red transparent paper on top of it so that the light tends to clearly be seen from the other people. And then he particularly was careful and traversed the path. Later on, he also informed the authorities of the same. Then the authorities rushed to the spot to make sure that no accident takes place. By timely action, it was averted. Yes or no? Can be written. So anyway, vague can be done. Now we come down to predefined picture. What do you mean by predefined picture? Predefined picture is that a boy is sitting on top of the horse. You have never seen anybody doing that. You have never done it. And probably you do not know what is to be done, but you have an idea that there is a horse rider, right? So what have you done? You have written about a horse riding competition. Now you'll say, where is my psychological impression? It's not your psychological impression of horse rider, but the components which you will write in the horse rider of determination, desire to win, is your component. So though that picture is predefined to take you somewhere else. Now imagine a boy getting a picture of a girl dressing up. And they have written that there was a girl who was very good in studies, she was very bold, she did this, and then it was done. And similarly a boy is shown done. Yes or no? So if a girl is shown a boy's picture and a boy is shown a girl's picture, what's wrong in appreciating the other gender also in terms of their mental attributes? Whatever you really like. Why do you have to deliberately change that gender into someone else and then write a story? So that is called predefined picture. Generally wants to see your social adaptability, your intelligence in adapting to the picture and to the situation shown. Is it clear? Yes or no? So that is why predefined. Now in predefined, you will say, okay, I can't see this, I am writing a story of my own. Will not happen. You will have to adapt yourself to that. There is a person wearing a uniform and saluting, and you will say that this was a, or you make some cock and bull story that this is a drama, actually this is a normal person. Not required. If you are seeing in uniform, take him as a uniform person. That can be a police officer, that can be an army officer, that can be a navy officer, that can be a air force officer, that can be n number of officers, please. Yes or no? So that is what it means by predefined. Last but not the least, we come down to blank picture. I have already said, in blank picture you are given the freedom to imagine a character, you are given the freedom to imagine a situation, and you are given the freedom to write. Generally people utilizing this situation pre-decide a picture and write them. Now what really happens, how it is understood that you are not thought in the moment, you tend to make a over-dramatic picture which is in contrast to other 11 pictures. So automatically person is able to identify that this story, this gentleman has written beforehand and come and just pasted it here. What psychologists really want, that you should write their picture in a flow of thoughts. You're getting the point. And when you write it in a flow, one thing is for sure, that if 11 pictures you have been writing around 80 to 100 words, the 12th picture should also be 80 to 100 words. But if you predefine and you have decorated that picture, then automatically the length will be more. So I will first give you a small cue that write of similar length. Is it clear or not clear? And then you can go by n number of ways. So I hope you've got an idea how your picture writing can be defined in these different categories and how it will help you to be in control of the picture. Okay? One thing more I want to teach you now is a concept of driver and a conductor, or a concept of driver or a passenger. You have to understand that. In story, I want to teach you something called driver, passenger, or driver, conductor. Understand this. Whenever you are traveling in a car, which is a better position, as a driver or a passenger, if you want to go to some place? Yes, Richard. Okay, one. Yes, driver. Passenger. Okay. Now, the people who have picked up passenger, I want to say, you are not in the active mode of action. So, I fail to see you becoming a leader in time. When you are traveling and you know driving, it is better to be a driver. You know where to go. You will be in control of the situation. You will be able to prove your action more well. You will be able to act properly. You will be able to intelligently keep in control the vehicle, yes or no, rather than sitting down as a passenger and letting the other person run. So what I mean to say, when you create a hero in your story and you have a choice between driver and passenger, what should you choose? Driver. Is it clear or not clear? Similarly, we come down to a situation of driver and conductor. Which you should choose? I will always again say driver. Conductor, you please do this. In this present world where we are living, it's setting examples is more important than asking other people to do it. Nobody is going to listen to your nonsense. If you want to talk about true leadership, in true leadership you have to be in command to set an example, to do the action, and then it will happen. Coming. Is it clear? Number one. Is it clear, driver, conductor? So whenever you create a character, make it proper and then do it. Rather than saying, like for example, somebody says Ravi had a son, Ravi told his father, then his father did it. Now, who is doing it? Who is Ravi? Ravi has become a conductor. And who is the real driver? Father. And he says Ravi is the hero. How? One problem. It shows that the parents have not encouraged the child to become prominent. So as a result of which, what is the problem with the child? The child has learned to do piggyback riding rather than doing things. So I agree, the child may be sweet, simple, but if he is not confident to take the decision, it will become a burden on the organization. So we would like certain amount of driver traits in a person. Yes or no? If the person wants to be an officer. Similarly, in driver and passenger, the person was going, so and so did this, he had to wear or the other did it, so how will you really relate your expression? What is the psychology test about? Psychology test is about what kind of person you think, what kind of action you get it done, and what kind of thought you have behind the action. Because via the thought process, via the action, they are decoding you. So if you say, I don't want to use the stage, I don't want to speak anything, aren't you missing the opportunity of expressing yourself? So this is something which we want. Last concept is there. I'll be ending up in 5 minutes, please. So here we go by another concept which I want to make you very clear so that you can come up with it properly and you can understand it. Again, I want to tell you all these kind of things are just guidelines. But when you will come up with your stories and give it to me and we will be able to evaluate it with the help of a team, then we'll get back to you what are his slips and what are the things. But general directives are very important so that at least you are on the right path. In case you are distanced, you at least can get some guidelines of how to write. Now we'll talk about one thing which is picture correlation. Picture correlation story, in story, first part, second part or third part. What do you mean by that? The picture correlation, where it should be used, in the first part, second part or third part? Depends. Suppose we are talking about positive situation picture, where a person is receiving an award. Don't you think that the picture correlation will come in the third? That the character so-and-so had a challenge, he worked hard and finally got it. Though the picture has created your thought, but the correlation will come prominently in third. Of course, the whole picture is revolving around, the story is revolving around the same picture, but the correlation can be in third, yes or no. But suppose it is a negative situation, of course first, because that is a challenge, and then he acted and then he solved it. Is it clear? Right. Suppose there is an action of somebody running, then it will be in the second, because he is running. Yes or no? So he is trying to complete, like there is a person, there is a football player, so he realized that his team last time had got very tired in this, and he realized that this was unfortunate, that there are certain teams which are going to be very, very progressive and going to be very difficult, so it is better for the team to gear up a little harder and improve themselves. So he ensured that everybody did running and improved their stamina. They also did sprints, they also did marathons. Thus this way they were now more stronger. And within 15 days the team was now capable to survive not only 90 minutes of the fair play but also 90 minutes extra with the same speed. So they were strong opponents. This helped them to play fast. And they were able to surprise the opponents and win. Yes or no? So have you understood this part also, picture correlation? Very simple. Is it clear? Now we come down to the other part. Character creation. Hero. Is it clear? Hero character creation. Depends on picture, right? Particularly predefined. In predefined, you will have to go by picture, yes or no. In neutral, you can create someone of your own kind, someone of your age, someone of your gender, because you can freely talk out of self-experience. Yes or no? So that is something which you can do in neutral. But in predefined, you will have to think of that character because it is appropriate of you to imagine this right character. One more thing, what character should we create? Suppose we are talking of a police situation, what character would be at best? Police constable or superintendent of police, or making him the DGP of police? I think superintendent of police would be the action man. The police constable will be too weak and DGP will be too much. So if somebody you create relevantly will give you a better story, yes or no? So a person in the main action is very important. There are some people who think of delegating duties. They said they will tell the district and district magistrate will do the thing. Now if district magistrate had to do it, then why are you writing the story? So basically do something which is practical. Every action should be practically possible. Your story will be relevant. Clear? So picture perception you understood. In picture, if it is predefined, you will have to create a character as per the picture. But in case it is neutral, then you can create a character of your kind. Suppose you have a freedom of choosing between two genders and you are a male gender, so pick a male gender as the hero. And if you are a female gender, pick female gender as the hero, because again you will be able to relate better. But suppose you are given in a picture there is only one gender, which is the opposite gender. Then identifying the opposite gender in the right way will also help your story. Remember, there are some people who are very narrow-minded, who look at people as boy and a girl, because unfortunately their father has always been seeing boy or a girl, or their brothers have been always seeing like this, or they have always seen a rotten form of definition, where they have not seen individuals, they have only seen genders. But if we are talking in the present time when you are going to work shoulder to shoulder with the opposite gender, you should see people as individuals, respect them as individuals. They do not have to be seen as opposite genders in terms of object or in terms of any other way, except in conduct of decorum. Yes or no? But they should be seen as individuals. Yes, no. So if you see them as individuals, your reaction will be better. Clear, not clear? Got it? One more, character creation. Whenever you create a character, should you show him as a weak character with weak personality factors, crying, seeking pity, or a person who is going to fight for himself? Naturally, because when you want him to be leader, if he doesn't fight for himself, what will he fight for the soldiers? So the prominent qualities have to come up. I'll end it here so that you at least absorb this much and then we go further. Is it clear? Okay, this is something which is very important that you understand this, and we will end it here so that you can first absorb this section, then we'll go further. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.